Okay, so I'll be honest here, I've spent the last 2 weeks working on a video and it's a long one. And I've got no idea how much longer it's going to take me to complete this one. And for me to say it's a long video, you know it's a long video. And I would be continuing on that one if it wasn't for the fact that yesterday we had the announcement that the Fallen Wings event is coming to the English servers. So not only are the Japanese servers getting it for the first time, but they are rolling it out on the English servers. And yeah, people are flipping out about this one because they're saying that we are not prepared for it.
You are not prepared!
And I kind of agree with that one because when we had it on the Chinese servers, we were 6 months into the game, so we were able to actually have proper optimized fleets by then and good equipments and things, and have our equipments pretty much at 6+ on everything, and some of them up at +10 and things, so we could deal with the hard modes and things. And considering the Chinese server hard modes are up to level 95, so for us D3 was 95, so yeah, those are fun hard modes. Now hopefully they are going to nerf it a bit, so you won't hopefully encounter it as they are bringing it out on the Japanese servers. Maybe you will get it as we had it on the Chinese servers, but hopefully they will be bringing the hard mode level down to what you've encountered on the Visitors Died in Red event. But even there, some people have said that they have not had an easy time with the Visitors Died in Red hard mode. I'll be honest, if you haven't had a good time with the hard mode on Visitors Died in Red, you're really going to struggle with the hard mode on this one. And people who have been able to cope with the hard mode on Visitors Died in Red will struggle with the hard mode on this one, because there are a few changes with the mechanics in this event. Yeah, it's going to be fun. So that's why I'm making this video, because there's mechanics changes. Now I have done past event videos for this event, so you can go back and look at those, and those are actually event guides. I actually did proper event guides back for this one, so those ones aren't so bad. They aren't as refined as a couple of the later ones, but those are definitely getting there, so those are fairly decent. But it's the bosses that have a mechanics change, and also a new feature, which is the Siren Chasers. Yeah, you've not encountered those before, and they're fun. They are fun. Okay, so a Siren Chaser every 2 turns will move 2 squares. So 2 squares across the map, they will move towards the closest fleet that is near them. Now, there are 2 ways of dealing with them. You can either try to avoid them, or you can try and take them out as soon as possible. Another thing you need to be aware of is that while you've had unlimited movement across maps so far, unless you get an ambush or you get an airstrike, on these maps where you've got a Siren Chaser, you have limited movement, and your movement is now restricted to the total fleet speed of your fleet. So yeah, if you got a fast fleet, you can move up to a maximum of 4 squares. You're probably getting about an average of 3 squares, so if you've got a good mixed fleet, it's going to be about 3 squares. But a fast fleet with quite a lot of destroyers in there, so Vanguard full of destroyers and a fast back line, so you've got CVLs and things, you're going to be about 4 squares. but if you've got a mix of destroyers and light cruisers and things, about 3 squares. But if you've decided that you are obsessed with heavy cruisers and battleships and things, you're going to be really slow and you're pushing around 2 squares. So balance your fleet, balance your speed, get about 3 or 4 squares in your movement. Now, the fun thing with the Siren Chasers is that there's 3 different types of them, each with their own different attack patterns, which you then have to deal with. The first 2 are just a basic nuisance and are easily dealt with. The third one, it's a bit of a hard hitter, and in the hard mode it is definitely a bit more painful. Now, one of the ways that you can actually deal with them is that once you've actually engaged them, and if you do take damage, try and go into a normal node, heal up that way, and then go straight onto the next Siren Chaser, and that should be how you can deal with them. You can try and to evade them, but while it's possible, it's more of a nuisance than anything else. And yeah, especially when you're kind of like moving about 3 squares at a time and things, and they're just coming after you and you're having to deal with ambushes and air strikes and stuff, it's just not really advised. So just take them on as soon as possible and then go on to the boss. So yeah, then we get to the boss mechanics. You will encounter siren bosses, and usually they have straightforward attacks that you can deal with, but there are boss timers. That's the new mechanic here. Boss timers. They charge up an attack, and you have a limited period of time to interrupt them charging the attack. You have to do a certain amount of damage to successfully interrupt the attack, and that will stop them launching the attack. And yeah, the final boss is those 2 bosses together. So you have to totally deal with those, and that's what makes D3 so much fun. So yeah, this is why I say that people probably aren't prepared for it, and this is why people are scratching their heads wondering why they are rushing this event out when it was one that people had got quite a bit of time to prepare for before on the Chinese servers, and it's perhaps not one that they want to be introducing fairly early on, just because of these mechanics and just because it's something that you want people to have optimized fleets for and have the best chances to deal with. So yeah, who knows what they're up to. Maybe they will nerf it down quite a bit. Maybe they will get rid of the boss mechanics. We'll have to wait and see.